I'd love to go to that. Welcome on the show. Welcome everybody. My name is Temi Ajayi, and of course I've got my friends with me, Heidi Solomon, looking glamorous there, and also Miss Greatness, His Royal Highness. So welcome. Good to see you, everybody. How are you ladies doing?
Great. Oh, good.
Oh, look great. Today looks like something sumptuous.
You know
Glamorous.
what? I think it's this watermelon top, Temi. This color. I like that color so much, and
It's
for some reason, I just believe that colors are very important. And a nice bright color. For some reason, I feel good, so it's good. It's a good day.
it actually really look good.
It
It
does.
looks, it
It
does look
really
good.
suits you.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Temi. Thank you so much. How are you? How have you been?
Well, I thank God I brought some color on me. But it's been crazy. I don't know if you've seen me on
Yes.
Facebook, you know, galvanizing everywhere. But we had an experimental. Oh gosh, so I can't even speak grammar. It's my second language. But anyway, we're experimenting pop up shop
Oh,
at the Point Cook Mall. So we're right in the middle of the mall at in front of Coles and Daniel's Coffee. So we're displaying some of our products that are amazing products. So I'm really happy. I've been wanting to do this for a long, long time, but this is too expensive. And I kept on saying expensive, but the product are moving from my boutique. So forget about this boutique. I'm like, let's just get it out, and the place is very decent. The body corporate are very responsive and supportive. It's still expensive, but I think at the end of the day we'll break through. So I'm very happy so far with
well
the
done.
yeah.
Amazing.
So I'm happy. Yeah, Liz visited us and she did some amazing shopping. There.
That's good.
Yeah, so I'm happy about that. Today, we had I've been to the pop up. We had all the African leaders from our church meeting this morning, and I had some family friends visiting from Perth, staying with my at my house, and I've got a lot going on today, but I will rather be on the show than to be anywhere. I know that
That's nice.
my kid said to me, there's this festival that is going on. It's actually going to go there and sing. And I said, well, we're tired, really. You have to now decide what do you want to do? Where do you want to go this time at our age? We don't start running. We've been running for so many years. I said, son, I bless you. You go there and enjoy. Yeah, it's true. But I'm really glad to be here. I'm really happy. I'm at peace. I'm not running around. I'm just calm. I've been here ready for like an hour before the show. I think is the best. And I'm looking forward to today's topic, challenging,
That's
provoking.
nice.
Really looking forward to it. So, Miss Greatness.
Yeah. Well, I'm doing well, definitely. I'm just a little bit disturbed by, you see, the shootings that are happening in the States. There's is it 19 kids that were shot again in the classroom with the teachers. It really disturbs me. And the people who are doing these shootings are equally, young boys. It's I don't know. I remember there was a time, when we really went out in terms of advocating against these games that the boys are watching. But it I think we normalized that. or we accepted it somehow. So we're not really complaining about that anymore. But now we are seeing the results because the boys really go live, even on platforms that I only heard on the news. I didn't even know about. Is it Twitch or whatever?
Mm.
They go live and they open fire.
Hmm.
It's really sad. And this one who did it now over during the week in Texas, he first killed his grandmother at home.
Oh, really?
Yes, he first shot the grandma and then he went to the school. I don't know. My heart is really bleeding. But otherwise, I'm definitely good. It's just the societal issues that I don't know. There's so much that we do, but maybe like the word of God says, the poor you will always have. We probably need to prioritize our battles because they're always there.
Yeah, it's sad. I heard you and I heard the news, but Liz, I think the end of time is coming very fast. I'm telling you. I think you yourself and I did have the show 3 weeks ago, and you were talking about how confused the world is. The world is so confused, and they only need God. I'm telling you. And I often say, you don't need to have my God, Jesus Christ. You have to have your God, whatever your God is, and is the God serving you. If your God is the one that is confusing, the one that is killing, that is evil. God is meant to do godly, goodly stuff. Okay, so people need God. My country, Nigeria, is you got no idea. You've got no idea. They killing people, they beheading people in a broad daylight, beheading people, and then they take the photo and then they show it on social. This is you got no idea what is happening. So I decide now to just soak, just focus. That we were talking about. You have you don't take you don't cry anymore now. It's past cry. You only just pray. You will need to pray. We need to pray. What is happening in my country, I can't even be saying it on here because some people will hear it and it could just trigger, they can just go depressed. It's really bad every day. I can't even say it. So what we need is prayers that these people to find God. I'm telling you. If it's your Allah, find it. If it's Jesus, find it. If it's in Hindu, whatever. But if your God is a killer God, is a disastrous God, then think twice. We can't help these people. We can't help. Only God can help. And truly, we need to focus because otherwise, the whole world is just going to depressive mood. And we can't. You can't. People should make right decision and right choices. We have to make it. I'm so sorry about the life that is lost, but it's so sad. I know how bad I have been in the past months and weeks and everything. I can't tell you what I'm hearing every day. In fact, it's triggering. I can't even say it. It's really bad. What can I do but to pray? It's a shame not to pray. But we're going to go quickly on a break and we'll come back for more. Welcome on the show. And we're just talking about what has been happening around the world and how we have to refocus and just take our pains and our agonies to God. I've learned something about grief, guys. You don't run away from grief, you run forward with the grief. We're grieving, we're running forward, but we're handling it to the one that can hold it. So if you are in a position that you've lost one, one person, or however your relationship with the assassinator or the assassin, I just pray that God in his infinite mercies will heal your heart and heal you. And we pray that these issues, God will put an end to it, that we will start to love one another. But I think this is going to go to your topic today, Liz, because your topic
Absolutely.
today, I really love
Absolutely.
the topic today. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Timmy, because when you were talking about, we're going to go into a depressive mode, I was really thinking, that's exactly where we're going today. How do we deal with these triggers that are literally sending us into, some of these depressive modes and hiking our anxieties and so on. So today we're talking about defense mechanisms against authenticity. We're looking at, what is the difference between coping mechanisms and defense mechanisms, and just to generally also share from our perspective, do we really use some of those defense mechanisms? How do we deal with issues, by way of just introduction, we, our makeup is by way of the upbringing, is by way of our families, that we are born into. It's of the cultural background, religious backgrounds, the gender, age, and our nationality, and different associations, shape us and make us. And against that background, it equally informs how we act when we are triggered.
Yes.
And that is exactly what we are talking about. When you are triggered, it could be for the good, it could be for the bad. Does it work for you? Should we change it? How do we change when we change it? And that's what we are talking about. And we are talking about defense mechanisms. And I'm gonna go right into it, and probably just start with Heidi to broadly just describe from your perspective, what you make of the word defense mechanisms and how it plays out in your life.
Um, well, prior to my education in the coaching and psychosomatics field and all of that, um, I viewed defense mechanism in a way, and then now I understand a whole new different understanding. So I'm basically going to say what I believe it is now, because that's more current and more true to me. Um, in our nervous system, there is only two ways of being. There is no third. I am either in connection or protection. So I am either connecting to the people that are around me, or I am protecting myself from the people that are around me. So if I am in connection, then I am totally authentic to who I am. If I'm in protection, I could put on any face or any BS that I believe is going to help me right now in this situation, depending on whatever I'm faced with. So this is this is called the polyvagal theory, and our vagus nerve, this is how it works. It's you're either in protection or connection. So I usually know the difference inside me, because I am very, very attentive, by just feeling, into what am I feeling here? Am I comfortable? Is this feeling expansive? Is this comfortable? Do I want more of this? Or do I want to run away? Or do I want to hide? Or do I want to, take myself away from the situation and all of that? And by the
Mm,
way, I have that. I do feel like I want to run away. And I do feel like this is not for me. The other day
yeah.
I went to the shopping center with Anna, and it was so crowded. And for some reason, I'm not very good with crowded places now. I'm not judging myself for it. I'm just accepting it. Crowds don't work for me right now, and that's how that's how it is. So I went in, and there's so many people, and I'm going, oh my goodness, I'm feeling dizzy. I'm so dizzy, and I'm thinking, well, Well, obviously, whatever circumstance it is, whatever situation it is not working for you. Leave. Just leave. If you're if whatever you're doing here is not essential, just leave. And I left. And that was me running away from something that I know is not serving. And I left.
Yeah,
And I
it's
was thinking,
beautiful.
Mom, are you going to, never come to a shopping center when it's crowded anymore? Or what's happening there? I said, it doesn't matter. Don't make a judgment out of it. Just leave me to be, and I'm going to um, embrace whatever comes up. So
Yeah.
that happened. Yeah.
Interesting.
Timmy?
Interesting. I was just listening to Heidi there. You're talking about connection or protection, and I'm thinking, you know how the book of Matthew was saying we have to be wise like a dove, but smart like a snake.
Yeah.
So I think you can be protective and also connect, because I think defense mechanism, when Alice said it, it's very vast, and I'm actually now questioning myself. And I think one of the authentic part of oneself, of me, I I process my thought. I think about what I'm thinking about, and then I look at this question, defense mechanism. I don't think it's totally bad. um I don't think it's totally bad. I don't think it's harmful. I think it's good to protect yourself even though you're connected, because I think if you do that, then you don't get terribly hurt when things go wrong, because people will always disappoint you, people will always do something. So I I'm looking at this defense mechanism, and I came to disassociation. And I'm like, this is a condition, all right? It's a condition. Disassociation is when I want to get it right. How did I put it? It could be detached from reality. Okay, you detach from reality, and I think it gets worse when you detach from reality of yourself. That's when it gets bad. But if you really know yourself, if you are conscious of who you are, and then you disassociate at the same time, you balance the two. If you have to, then I don't think it's bad. So the thing is, well, the first mechanism is like a mental process. You initiate it unconsciously. You do that to avoid conflict or anxiety, and I do that very well. I know that I run from conflict and ideas, yeah, 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 and anxiety. I just I do. But one thing that I really want to put forward at this stage is that I'm actually not pretending, and I'm really in tune with myself. And I like the space of that safety, because then you don't offend me. So defense mechanism I do is a bit of disassociation, if you mean. If you hurt me once, I will watch you. You offense me second time, I will disassociate. Thank you. I know who you are now. I don't hate you. This is you. Like what ID said, this is ID at this time. She doesn't want to go to mall. It doesn't mean she will not change. I will still give you the grace that you might change, but I'm not vulnerable anymore. I'm clear. I'm clear about what's happening. And I've got a story I will share with you as we go about defense mechanism, what I thought about it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's very interesting how the two of you bring the little bit of contrast that I pick up there, where Temi says, it's unconscious, it's within her, it comes out when it's triggered, and Heidi says she's very attentive, she chooses the particular behavior or the protection that comes up at that time that suits her. That's really interesting, and it also shows how much that we are actually different from each other.
Yeah.
I've read about psychologists who, neither contradict each other about that particular fact. There are some who say it's unconscious, the others equally say, it's a choice. But for you to get to that level where Heidi is, to be able to choose this is what I want at that point of trigger. You really need to be in tune with yourself. I don't did it come easy, Heidi?
I first had to admit and
Yeah.
first had to, actually understand that, you have so many things that you need to work out within yourself, and you need to do that work. And having a coach, at least I've had a coach for the last, 5.5 years now.
Mm.
And I have not been one day without a coach for all of these years. Not one, maybe two, three at a time. And so
Yeah.
this is why I've decided that I want to work on myself. I would
Mm-hmm.
love to evolve all the time. I want to be, there's so many layers that I haven't uncovered. There's so many things. So it did take time, Liz. Yes, it did. And
Yeah.
now I am just, like, I'm noticing that I'm okay with all my, they say imperfections or flaws, and or insecurities, and like my insecurity right now is my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
I am best friends with my insecurity. You know what? I take her out for dinner, and I'm talking to her, and I'm telling her she's fine, she's okay, she's allowed to come out, and she's always welcome. I'm not forcing anything out of me, or I'm not pulling anything out to me, because that's all of me, and the journey is the journey, and the desire that we will one day become whole and complete, and that really, that doesn't happen. So I forgot that, and I left that, and then now I'm just embracing whatever comes up, and sometimes I surprise myself.
Yeah.
The other day I surprised myself with such anger. I haven't been angry for a very long time, and the other day I just got really angry, and I was going, wow, where did this come from? How is this possible? Didn't you work on your anger and your stuff like that? And it
Yeah.
came out, and I was going, great, some work to do. It's okay.
I like,
Yeah.
I like this. I tell you what, it's good you said that with anger. I hate it when I'm angry. I'm angry with myself when I'm hungry. So this is one of the defense mechanisms, Liz.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be angry. When I'm angry, if you offend me, if I lose myself, I'll go home and cry. Why did I have to lose myself? What's that for? I don't like, so Heidi allow herself to be angry. I'm praying I don't want to be angry. I even said to my husband, please, I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be angry. Please, honey, don't make me angry. I begged. This was when we just got married when we were younger. I always begged, please, that thing you're doing is upsetting me. Can you not let me be angry? And one day he says, do you think anybody cannot be angry? Even I can be angry. I'm like, don't say that, please. I'm that bad. I'm really, really, I don't want
Yeah.
to be angry. One of
I
the,
think let's go on a quick break, Timmy, and come back. Then we can go a little bit further into this.
okay, good. All right, let's go. Yeah,
Yeah.
welcome back.
Welcome back.
Here we are.
Welcome back to Hanging Out with Timmy. We are talking about defense mechanisms and whether it suits us, whether it suits you, or it doesn't. Do you know that you are applying defense mechanisms in your life? How do you go about when you are triggered? Are you conscious? Are you unconscious? Is it something you want to work on? Let's talk together. If there is anybody out there, send us that message so that we can see and respond to that. Now,
Mhm.
I want to talk about coping. When we cope,
Thank you.
is that, does that make it a defense mechanism, or is it different to cope, and then different to, you know, bringing out a defense mechanism? What's the difference between the two?
But Liz, defense mechanism
Yeah.
has a lot of connotations to it. So there's negative connotation, there's positive connotation. There's something
Mm-hmm.
called reaction formation. Reaction formation is you like something, but you don't want to show that you like it. You know,
Mm.
you're trying to protect, you are trying to defend, you are trying to pretend, or
Yeah.
or repression is another one. Denial. You deny your feelings. That's what I was saying. You feel it, you accept it, you want to feel it, and then you try not to feel it. But you're still conscious, or either you're conscious that if I lose my cool,
Mm-hmm.
it could be bad. So, you know, you might say it's repression that you try to cover it, you know, but the truthfully, if you are conscious of it, then it's not repression. You're conscious. If I get angry, it will get bad. I don't want to get angry, so I manage it. That's coping.
Mm-hmm.
I'm coping with this situation. And also, like I said before, like grieving, when I grieve, I learn now not to, I let myself grieve,
Yeah.
but I move forward with it. So then you're coping very well. But if I pretend as if it's not happening, then that is, I'm totally denying it. So that is defense mechanism. If you're
Okay.
denying it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it does make sense, Timmy. I think what I was picking up is when we cope, it's more on when it's still at the level of stress, when it's still a bit emotional and it's
Yeah.
mental. That's
Yeah.
that's that's when you cope. And when your ego can't take it anymore, then you get more triggered, and that's when the defense kicks in. But as long as you can maneuver it, you are still coping, and then it arrives at that place where you just decide, this is it, and that's where you leave the mall.
So what you're
Right.
saying is,
When you've arrived at that place, that's when you leave. You pull
Yes.
out your final trigger.
so what you're saying, Liz, is we were talking about cheating the other day, and
Yeah.
I was thinking like, okay, when if my husband cheats, what will I do? That's one of the defense things that I said I don't know. I really don't know, but my default state is to be kind and to be nice and to give grace, but I really don't know what I would do at that time. You see, but
And
I'm
that's your coping. That's at that point you are coping.
yeah, I'm coping because it
Yes.
hasn't even happened yet. But
Yeah.
if it happens, and then
You will be triggered.
yeah,
You
maybe
you
my
will be triggered. It's gonna come
pastor
out.
thinks, oh, I'll forget I was a pastor then. You I don't know. That's one of the things that I said, you know, I don't know. So maybe I don't know what sort of defense mechanism I will
Yeah.
use. When is it going to be denial? Is it going to be repressive? You know, what is it going to be at the time? I don't know. But I think you're right, Liz. Sometimes something happened to you and then you cope very well. And then you go to workplace or you meet somebody on the road and then they remind you of that thing that happened to you. And then you start to, it triggers it. And then you anger will come up again, like, oh, you reminded me of my childhood, or you reminded me of some of my mother, and something
Mm,
happened. So how do you cope?
exactly. Yeah. I wanted to go there, about, some coping mechanisms, defense mechanisms that we developed in the childhood, and
Yeah.
it worked, you know. But then all of a sudden you are an adult, and you have not realized that you are still using that, because not everybody is conscious. Yes, not everybody is conscious when it's time for pulling your defense mechanisms. So, and it kicks in. How does one arrive at that place where this does not work for me?
I actually have a typical example that happened to me.
Yeah.
Uh, with the way when I was younger, when I was little, I use my defense mechanism by being very, very good child, right? So when my father said, "Don't touch my television," I don't touch it. And I didn't know how to put on television for many, many years because I blocked my eye that I will never see it, I will never touch it, and I'm good. And so I carried this till adulthood, till when I was married, that I still want to be a good girl, and I don't
That's
want
right.
anybody to make me angry because I don't want to be angry. When I was little, I ran away from beating and anger. So when I got married, I still don't want to be angry. Don't talk to me anyhow because I'm a good girl. I get it all right every time and nobody talks to me. So don't talk to me, and don't say, "Where is the remote?" You know I don't touch remote in this house. Why are you saying, "Where is the remote?" As if you should know. Tell me doesn't, those things. And it wasn't serving me. What helped me was my coach. My coach one day called me when I was talking to him about this, and he says, and we were talking, and I got my realization myself without the guy, the bell just dropped. I'm like, ah. He says, "Do you reckon you're not a child to your husband anymore?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm not his child." "Oh, okay." We were talking, and then I came to realization that why was I still thinking I'm a good girl? I'm a lady now. I'm an old woman now. But this took me a long time because of my upbringing or being a good girl. Nobody talks to me because they know I'm a good girl, to my relationship. But it took my coach. Even God was telling me I wasn't listening. It took a man. He's not even a man of God, just a man, to let me to realize that. So I think sometimes God will tell you, sometimes your friends will be truthful about your life and tell you, and sometimes your coach will tell you. So it's always good to have a platform where you share and you're authentic about your share. Because I went deep with my coach, I actually said it literally. I told him the scenario, so he was able to help me because I was open and honest. So, and now I'm liberated. I don't need to be a good girl anymore. Who
Yeah.
cares? No one is.
Yeah. Timmy, you're absolutely right in saying that. There are different ways in which we grew up that shapes us and really supports, our thinking in terms of what I'm doing is right. And I've been in settings where I heard people saying, and sometimes I would say that myself, this is what my mother told me.
Yeah,
As a grown up, you say that I wasn't raised like this.
yeah,
This is what we do, and that thing comes from when you were a baby. It comes from um when you were unconscious, if I can even put it that way.
true.
You grow up seeing this is how we do it.
Mm,
Is it still applicable? Do you
right.
still have to go and put the butter under the mattress to keep it cold because your mother saw it from her great grandma, because that time they didn't have fridges? But
Yeah.
it was passed on from generation to generation, and today you are saying that's how my mom raised me. And you've got a double door fridge in your house. So, how can we help our children? Look for those of us who've got coaches and who have developed ourselves. That's all right. But how can we help our children to help them realize that it is time for you to start to think outside the box now? You are not a child anymore. You need to think about a companion. You need to think about having children. You need to think about where you see yourself as an adult. Shift your thinking from where I see myself from a child's perspective, but where I see myself from an adult's perspective. How can parents come in there for their children?
I
Heidi,
think
you've got two daughters.
Heidi said something that I was going to pick up one day. Heidi was like, "I learned from my daughter now. They show me how to take a tram in the city. They show me how to take a train. I learned from them." So I think being teachable as a parent, then the children will listen to you more. Heidi, I'll let you go.
Yeah. One thing I've always mentioned to the girls lately is that we self regulate by co regulating.
Mhm.
The only way I can learn about myself is by being with someone, by being triggered by someone, by going to situations with someone. The only way I could see that mirror of everything that I need to work on, I'm not going to be able to find it on my own. I am not going to be able to address it, because I'm not going to see it. How will I see my dysfunctionality? How will I see my insecurities if I'm not, in contact with other people? So this is what I always tell them. Go and be with your friends so you
Yeah.
can learn about co-regulation by when you self-regulate, but you can't self-regulate without co-regulation. So you will see what is coming up for you. What triggers are there? What triggers? You know, when I first met Temi, I was triggered by her relaxation. I was going, where? What? What? She has three grown-up children, and she doesn't, worry half the stuff that I worry about. She's so relaxed. How is she
Mhm.
so relaxed? How does she not care? And every
Yeah.
time I was with her, I'm looking at her, and all I'm doing is that I'm going, okay, that's your mirror. That's your mirror. You're triggered. You're triggered right there just because you don't know how to relax. You don't know how to stay put. You don't know how to stop doing. Look at her. Look at her. Teach her. Like, learn from her. She's your teacher. See that. Learn that. And then I started being okay with my dysfunctionality and knowing that, well, you know what? I'm going to be at peace knowing that I am not as relaxed as she is. And I'm going to learn maybe little tricks and different things. So I would sit there and ask a question or ask 10 questions. Temi, tell me, please, how are you so relaxed?
Yeah.
What is it inside you that is? Do you remember that, Temi?
Definitely, definitely. I remember the last time you were like, okay, tell me more. And we were talking, talking. Yeah, I remember.
Yes,
Yeah.
so this is how I usually learn. This is how I usually tell my daughters to learn. And
It's-
I always say this journey is all about us learning. There's
Mhm.
no end to this learning. There's no stop where I go, well, you know what? I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
I'm on top of the world.
Mm.
Tony Robbins has coaches. Oprah Winfrey has coaches. All of these people, the best people around us, among us, they all
Mm.
have coaches. And at the moment, I have coaches, but my true teachers really are my daughters. Are
Hmm.
my daughters. They are my true teachers because with them, I am naked. I don't have any masks on. I am so me. They see me in my anger. They see me in my procrastination. They see my double standards and they point it out. They
Love,
say it in my face.
love
Yeah.
it.
And I'm like, all right, now I'm exposed.
Yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful. You
Love
want
that.
to say something, Timmy?
I just love that co-regulation thing, and
Yeah.
I think it's the best way to go, Liz. The way we're going now, it's not about what we learned from our parents anymore. It that could be our basis, but
Mm-hmm.
we need to be a little bit pliable. You were talking about how to talk to our children. I
Yeah.
think our children is for them to realize where we're coming from, to understand that we understand them, we can identify with them, or we understand where they are coming from as well. They two apart. Liz, it's really, really hard these days, I'm telling you, for parents. Extremely hard. So I say this to say your children can surprise you badly. They can come on one day and say they this. I don't want to say what it is because I don't like to say negative. They can be anything. You can see your daughter come today and said, call me Jay. I just say, just open your heart and love. Take the matter
Mm.
to God. Don't take your God to your children, take your children to your God, is what we're saying now, really. Or because what is happening now, it will blow your mind. As a parent, just be strong, be prayerful, and be there for them, because they will blow your mind with what is happening around now. And I think your stability, they might go derail, but they will come back. They might go
Mm.
out, but they will come back. So as a parent, I say be stable and be a pillar, so that when the kids are running around, they can see somewhere to come back and say, we're tired. We need to lean on you. If you're standing, if you're not standing, they got nothing to lean on. But just pray and expect the best. God help us what we get. Really.
We're
But
going on a break on that note, Timmy.
yeah, we go on a bit.
Hi, welcome back to Hanging Out with Timmy. We are talking about defensive mechanisms, and don't we all have them? Don't we all have them? I've got my fair share of them as well. I also avoid, I can just, you know, build my own world and stay in there in my place. I can isolate, so and it worked for me, but I'm at a place where I have to relook whether, this still works, or
Oh, good.
I need to grow, So I think with defense mechanisms, like we were saying earlier, it is really important that we have that reflective attitude as
Right.
as you grow, to be reflective in terms of, is this working for me, or is it working against me? When you are in a leadership position, your followers will be able to point that out for you if you are reflective, if you are open to feedback. It's not going to be criticism,
Yeah.
it's going to be constructive, and you will appreciate it when it comes back to you as, constructive criticism. And then you'll be able to use it um, to change yourself if you have to. But being reflective, I think, is the word that we need to take into the future.
That's good.
So that, when you are triggered, you kind of stand there and think, like Heidi was saying, why am I angry like this? What about this makes me angry? It's the whole situation, but what exactly about the whole situation got you this angry,
Hmm.
got you this worked up? What about this whole situation makes you feel you don't want to be in the space of A or B anymore?
Hmm.
And then you address that issue. And that's how you tick things off into your life, and you build yourself up to be able to move forward, as Timmy was saying. Now my next point is really in terms of the importance of having a coach. It can't be overemphasized as important as it is.
Very important.
And I don't know how we should really bring that message out to the people that we serve,
Right.
that nobody goes to the Olympics without a coach. If you
Yeah.
want to stand out in life,
Mhm.
if you want to live a life that is, at the Olympic level of conducting your life, then you really need to have people who speak into your life. You
Mhm.
need to have people who support you. You need to have people who calls things on their names.
Mhm. You know, the one of the problems, I don't know what happened there. One of the problems, Heidi,
Mm,
is not appreciating what you have. Sometimes people don't appreciate, they second guess. I got a beautiful text message from a lady today that was talking about one gathering, how she got healings from the chic gathering we did, how she got healings from there. So when people stay, I always say that when people stay in their homes, or you're busy, Elise is back, or
Thank
they,
you.
you're welcome. Welcome back, Liz. When people stay in their home and they second guessing, or maybe they're not real, are you real? Like what you said, you have to co-regulate.
mm,
I learned from you, Heidi, even though you say you're learning from me. I learned a fantastic attribute of love from like no man's business from you. And I use that to teach some of the people I coach. You might divorce. It's not the end of the world. Heidi divorced, and the divorce it was not even a pleasant decision. It was a nasty one. It was everything else. But the way Heidi respect the husbands, and the man still come to your house, and you still talk to him, you still let him have cup of tea in your house, eat, and these guys still piggyback with the girls and the love in your house. If anyone come to your house, Heidi, they will never believe you've ever divorced. They
mm.
will never believe if you didn't tell them. And I knew everything about this divorce. it's it's your story, but it's nothing pleasant at all. But here you are, you're growing, you're you're serving yourself, and you're investing in yourself. Fantastic. So you might learn from me, I learn from you. But people will be looking at you from outside there and be judging and say, oh, maybe they're lying. We're progressing, we're growing. Even Liz has got the most patience. Like sometimes I'm like, why are you this patient? What's actually your problem? I'll sit down and what, let me know what your problem is, because I don't know your problem. The patient, she's that she's not moving. She's not moving with something that is slapping her like this. She's like, it's okay. Maybe she's gracious because of her name. But I'm learning that, like, I don't know if I could take one tenth of what she's taking from anyone. And there she is. So I'm saying this to say people will be around two of you and they don't even know what you got. And you're even giving them this thing for free, they don't even appreciate it. Whatever you do not appreciate, you will never ever attain or attract. And let me say something, Liz. By the time this thing will come out, it might be too late. It might be very, very. I was talking to a friend of mine this afternoon by what you say, co-regulate and self-regulation. It's the best. This guy was telling me how she you know that her daughter, I'm gonna say that, is taking drugs, how she discovered the daughter is taking drugs. And if you see the grace at which this person handled that, if that was to be me, I will be screaming, my life, oh, my this, my that. I'm just saying. So this is how you learn. I pray that none of that will happen to any one of us, but you never know. So I'm saying all this story to say, if you're not learning from people right now, and you're saying I don't have time, you want to go work, by the time you have the money, you will not have the peace. Now that money you'll be spending it on problem and trouble because you never learned, you never move with people, and you never grow. It's very disgraceful. So we need to learn from coaches. It could be your friend. Start to respect people and the wisdom upon them and the grace that they have. I respect that. I'm gonna say the last thing that my daughter, delivered me one time because of this ego defense mechanism. From my background, if you're my friend, I always trust you because we're close friends. I want you to tell me things, I tell you everything, whatever, because we're close. Now, I heard a story about a friend of mine that did something, she cheated or somebody was bad, and we were on holiday, and I called this my friend and I said, did you cheat? Did you do this? Oh my gosh, people of you're like caliber. I was making so much story. It was bad. And then she said, "You ruined my holiday." And I said, "Who cares about your holiday? You're a cheater. This is what bad people do, the evil people." And then I was angry. And then I was sharing with my daughter because they all know about it, because it's a family thing. And my daughter said something that changed my life. She said, "Do you know that armed robbers do have wives and children, and they're good fathers and good mothers to their family, but they're armed robbers and killers outside?" She said the fact that this person cheated has not changed your friendship. This person truly loved you to bits. That is something that he did. That is his own problem that he did, that he has to deal with. And then my daughter was asking me, "So why are you angry? Did this person owe you anything? Are you the mother? Who are you?" She talked, she talked to me. This little girl talked to me. I'm like, oh. She said, "Mommy, this is pride." She used the word pride. I'm like, don't use pride, because pride is big. Why is pride coming here? This is my friend that disappointed me. She said, "That is your problem. If you think somebody did something in their own house and that's a disappointment to you, you have a problem. This person is a good person that loves you to bits, but happened to be a cheater." That liberated me. You know how you say you learn from your children? My best teachers are my children. They test your patience, they test your wisdom, they test everything. And since that day, I love this person and I forgive. Father, forgive, and I pray. Whatever it is that is affecting him, Father, help him. Now he's a good person. It was one cheating, whatever, never cheated again. Everything is done. And this person is at peace with God. So what's my problem? I say all those stories to say, start to learn from anybody around you that you think God is giving grace. Don't start to compete with them because you are not in the same class. Everybody is in a different class of journey. Sorry about it, going too much. I was passionate about this, you can tell.
Yes, sorry, I've dropped out there, but I'm happy I could be back again quickly. I used my defense mechanism there. Yeah, we are running out of time. We literally only have 8 minutes, and this was really a wonderful topic that we discussed today. I think we need to go in a little bit further next week when we come back and, deal with other issues that are equally important when we grow up, so that we can use the defense mechanisms that supports us in dealing with issues, not the mechanisms that stops us from taking the risk, that stops us from being effective, that stops us from being authentic, because there's so many mechanisms that we can use, without realizing, that are becoming our own barrier. That's where people say, you are in your own way. And
No,
sometimes we don't realize it. Yeah. So I'll just go with Heidi in conclusion.
In conclusion, I'd say that it's okay to have defense mechanisms, whatever it is, coping mechanism. All of these things are essential for our being and essential for our life here on earth. And it's only when we are in resistance to whatever it is that is coming up that we are actually causing or harming or being dysfunctional in our own way, and standing in our own way, like you said. And why would we do that when we can just be at peace, knowing that these are my limits and these are my limitations, and this is what I'm working on, and I'm going to embrace it all. I'm going to love myself going through it all, and I'm going to allow myself be it all. There is no this or that, there is this and that. So, in all the fullness that I am, I also have some insecurities, and it's okay to have them. So, when you know them, when you can identify them, and when you're at peace with them, you can actually work on them. But if you're not,
Yeah.
you can't. Yeah.
Timmy, last word.
well, I just love this topic, and I don't think we can finish it. But thank you for the angle that you came up with to say, how do we deal with our children, our family, in dealing with this defense mechanism, and how do we deal with it? I think it's a deeper there's more to it that we can explore. But thank you. I love the topic,
Yeah.
and I'm really passionate. And one thing I'm going to say also is be yourself. Always be yourself. Don't try to impersonificate. Don't try to be somebody else. Don't try to be that person. Just be yourself. It will set you free. It will set you free.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very, very much for those inputs. It's definitely about knowing yourself, it's about being reflective, it's about identifying what works for you and what does not work for you. It's good that we are bringing so much wealth of knowledge and information from where we grew up, but for where we are going to. We are changing in the process, and the
Mhm.
environment around us is equally changing, and therefore, there is need for us to relook our coping and defensive mechanisms so that we can choose the ones that work for us. There's so many mechanisms that are out there, but we want to be effective, we want to contribute, and we want to be who we are, authentically being in the present, no matter where you are. And I think at this note, I will sign off tonight's conversation. Tell was there somebody who said something to us today?
They were just saying hello to us and
Okay,
something on the show. Yeah,
okay.
that's all they
Well,
said.
then, thank you very much. And we look forward to our next session next week, Tuesday.
See
Thank
you
you.
next
Good
week.
Goodbye.
night.
Good night.